Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha Panchatattvaatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupah Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakhyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Sadato Pangur Mama Mandir Mater Gati Matsarvasvapadam Bhujau Shri Radha Madana Mohano Divya Drindaranyam Kripadrumadha Shri Madaratnagara Simhasanasto Srimad Radha Shila Govinda Devo Pleshthali Sevaman Smarami Shriman Rasasaram Devam Shivata Tadasitha Karshan Venu Sunir Gopil Gopinatha Shri Estunam Taptakanchana Gaurange Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram
Hare.
Hare Hare. You're able to hear properly? Or I have to off this
Yes,
fan?
ma'am.
Yes, Mataji, yes.
This has come back from Nagpur. Okay. 47th verse onwards. Today we'll try to complete 11th chapter. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Now the answer. We have done. Okay. I think we have been correct now. 47th verse.
Yes,
right?
yes, Mataji, yes.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Prasanena Maya Prasanena Tavarjunedam Rupam Param Darshitamatma Yoga Tejomayam Vishwamanantamadyam Yanme Tvad Anyena Na Drishtapurvam. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Prasanena beautiful. Maya Prasannena Tavarjunedam Rupam Param Darshitamatma Yoga Tejomayam Vishwamanantamadyam Yanme Tvadanyena Nadrishtapurvam. How much twist of tongue, just see. Beautiful verses. They're so beautiful. So Lord says, Maya Prasannena. I'm very happy with you. Prasannena. So here, what is our goal of our life? To always please Krishna. That is only the purpose. There is no other purpose beyond this. Why we are worshipping? We can say to mitigate our miseries. No. It is all there. Why we want a glass of water? Why we want a Bisleri bottle? Not to get that cap and that any other will get cap and the bottle. Main is to quench the thirst. So why we are chanting? Why we are performing devotional service? Maya Prasannena, Krishna says, I am very happy. The only purpose of performing devotional service is to please Krishna. Bas. There is no other reason beyond this. There's no other reason. Maya Prasannena Tava Arjuna. Oh Lord, oh Arjuna, I'm very happy with you. Idam Rupam Param Darshitam. So happily I have shown you this Rupam, this transcendental form, Rupam Param, this transcendental form. I have shown you. And how I have done this? Atma Yoga, by my internal potency. Even in Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, we see how Lord appears. He says, by my internal potency. Tejaha Mayam, full of opulence. I am full of glaring effulgence. This Vishwarupaha, this entire universe which is unlimited, this form which I have shown you, this is unlimited form. And nobody has seen this original form. Adyam. Tat anyena nadrishtapurvam. Before this, nobody has seen this beautiful form of mine. Arjuna says, horrible form, terrible form. Krishna says, beautiful form. And why I've shown you this beautiful form? Because I'm very happy with you. Arjuna must be thinking, oh my God, this is the happiness. You are showing me such a terrific form. You are smashing people, you are eating them, you are crushing them, bloods are coming. People are going inside, you are killing them, and there are thousands of mouth, thousands of teeth. So is this a very beautiful form? And that too, if you are so happy with me, are you going to show this form? But Krishna says, I'm very happy and nobody has seen this form. Anyhow, Krishna Priya Mataji, read.
Hare Krishna Dandaprana Maya Prasannena Tavarjunedam Rupam Param Darsitam Tejo Mayam Viswamanantamadhyam Yanme Tvadvenena Drishtvarupam. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, happily have I shown you by my internal potency the supreme universal form within the material world. No one before you has ever seen this primal form, unlimited and full of glaring influence. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Arjuna wanted to see the universal form of the Supreme Lord. So Lord Krishna, out of his mercy upon his devotee Arjuna, showed his universal form, full of effluence and opulence. This form was glaring like the sun, and its many faces were rapidly changing. Krishna showed this form just to satisfy the desire of his friend Arjuna. This form was manifested by Krishna through his internal potency, which is inconceivable by human speculation. No one had seen this universal form of the Lord before Arjuna. But because the form was shown to Arjuna, other devotees in the heavenly planets and in other planets in outer space could also see it. They had not seen it before. Because of Arjuna, they will also be able to see it. In other words, all the disciplic devotees of the Lord could see the universal form which was shown to Arjuna by the mercy of Krishna. Someone has committed that this form was shown to Duryodhana also. When Krishna went to Duryodhana to negotiate for peace, unfortunately, Duryodhana did not accept the peace offer. But at that time, Krishna manifested some of his universal forms. But those forms are different from this one shown to Arjuna. It is clearly said that no one had ever seen this form before. Hare Krishna.
How can Duryodhana see the form? Krishna is eating Duryodhana. No? So this itself shows Krishna is actually swallowing all the people except the Pandavas. How can Duryodhana see this form? That is why the form which was shown to Duryodhana, the universal form, is different from this universal form. Here Krishna is showing the victory of Pandavas. Here Krishna is showing Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. My devotees will never perish. So this form has been shown to the Devas. This form has been shown to the devotees. This form is not seen by Duryodhana. Yes, Priya.
Mataji, whatever form Krishna has shown when he went to Duryodhana for negotiation, both forms are same or
different. How can Krishna show the future? And Duryodhana would have seen himself swallowed by Krishna, chewed by Krishna. Krishna told, I am just biting them, smashing them with my teeth. They would have seen that. They would have not taken part only in the war. There, just Krishna must have shown some form, but that is different from this. Navedayajnadhyayanenam danair na chakriyabhirna tapobhirugraihi evam rupah shakya aham loke dashtum tadanyena kuru pravira. Navedayajnadhyayanenam. This is very little bit twist of the dhya. Navedayajnadhyayanirna danair न चक्रियाभिर्न तपोभिरुग्रैः एवं रूपः शक्य अहं नृलोके द्रष्टुं त्वदन्येन कुरु प्रवीर. Krishna says, not by studying Vedas, not by performing any yajnas, not by giving charity or by recitation of the dhyaya. Dhyaya means recitation of the adhyan, yajna adhyan, nor by recitation of the verses or the scriptures, nor by charity, nor by any rituals, nachakriya, nor by any tapo. Evam rupaha shakyaham loke. Not by all these things you can see this form which I have shown to you. Drashtum tadanyena kuru pravida. It cannot be seen by anyone except you. So here again, in the previous verse, Krishna says devotees have seen. Here, not by anyone means only devotees can see. Simple, you should understand. There you should not immediately think, oh, only Arjuna saw, then why Krishna says this has been seen by few. Devas can see. Prabhupada writes the purpose. Devas can see, devotees can see. That means except you here refers to except for the devotees, nobody can understand this form. Like when Lord appeared as Narsimha, everybody were afraid, including even Lakshmi, including even Brahma, who gave the prediction to Hiranyakashipu. So when Narsimha came, this form was appreciated by Prahlad. Sridhar Swami says, Ugropi anugrayevayam sabhaktanam narakesari kesari sapotanam anyesham ukra vikramaha. Like the lion is appreciated by the cubs. For them, the lion is mother. In the same way, this fearful form of yours, I am not afraid of Krishna. I am not afraid of your form. Why? Because in this form, I can see you as Shyam Sundar. Only devotees can see Shyam Sundar in Narsimha also. Ugropi anugra evayam, even if you are in a ugra form. So bhaktanam narakesari, you are, for your devotees you have appeared, because they know the purpose of this appearance is to scare, to fear the demons. It is not to fear the devotees. That is why except you, nobody can see this form. That means you are not in fear. Or even if I show, you should not be in fear. I love you because I am very happy with you. You are my sakha. That is why I have shown this form, and this form is going to scare the demons. So we have to link this because it is very difficult to understand. Although if you put our tarka vitarka, oh, only Arjuna saw. How is it that Devas also saw? And Krishna says nobody before this has seen. Yes, nobody has seen. So because that type of situation was not created. Now the situation is the whole world, most of the people were on the side of Duryodhana. So much of a dharma is happening and Krishna wants to establish dharma. Krishna is establishing dharma. For that, Krishna has to take this step. And in this step, Krishna has devoured all the people except Pandavas. When you say only Pandavas, what is that? Verse number 48. Except Pandavas, that means except for the people who were on the side of dharma, completely on the side of dharma, everybody were devoured. Okay. So, Janardhan Prabhu, please read. Read this very carefully. Veda yajna dhyaya nairana. Dhyaya nairana. Read slowly. There is no hurry. Your voice. Your voice. Not coming. Okay, Hansrubi Prabhu. I thought something wrong in my ears on your. Okay.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna. नवेद्यज्ञादयनैर्नाने kriya tapovirugre evam rupa shakya aham loke Krishtam tadanyena kuru savira.
Jai Ho.
Translation.
At last, all twisted tongue. Good. Once you start reading like this, a span of time, if you practice nicely, khata khat you can read. And you'll appreciate also that how these chandas are fit so properly.
Right. O best of the Kuru warriors, no one before you has ever seen this universal form of mine, for neither by studying the Vedas, nor by performing sacrifices, nor by charity, nor by pious activities, nor by severe finances can I be seen in this form in the material world. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The divine vision in this connection should be clearly understood. Who can have divine vision? Divine vision means godly. Unless one attains the status of divinity as a demigod, he cannot have divine vision. And what is a demigod? It is stated in the Vedic scriptures that those who are devotees of Lord Vishnu are demigods. Vishnu Bhakt Smrato Deva. Those who are atheistic, that is, who do not believe in Vishnu or who recognize only the impersonal part of Krishna as the supreme, cannot have the divine vision. It is not possible or decry Krishna at the same time have the divine vision. One cannot have the divine vision without becoming divine. In other words, those who have divine vision can also see Arjuna. The Bhagavad Gita gives description of the universal form, although this description was unknown to everyone before Arjuna. Now one can have some idea of the Vishwarupa after this incident. Those who are actually divine can see the universal form of the Lord, but one cannot be divine without being a pure devotee of Krishna. The devotees, however, who are actually in the divine nature and who have divine vision are not very much interested in seeing the universal form of the Lord. As described in the previous verse, Arjuna desired to see the four-handed form of Lord Krishna as Vishnu, and he was actually afraid of the universal form. In this verse, there are some significant words, just like Ved, Yajna, Dhyana, which refers to the studying Vedic literature and subject matter of sacrificial regulations. Veda refers to all kind of Vedic literature such as four Vedas, Rigved, Yajurved, Samved, Atharved, and the 18 Puranas, the Upanishads, and the Vedanta Sutra. One can study these at home or anywhere else. Similarly, there are sutras, Kalpa Sutras and Mimamsa Sutras for studying the method of sacrifice. Daine refers to charity, which is offered to suitable parties, such as those who are engaged in this transcendental loving service of the Lord. The Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas, similarly pious activities, refers to the Agnihotra and the prescribed duties of the different castes. And the voluntary acceptance of some bodily pains is called tapasya. So one can perform all these, can accept bodily penances, give charity, study the Vedas, etc. But unless he is a devotee like Arjuna, it is not possible to see the universal form. Those who are impersonalists are also imagining that they are seeing the universal form of the Lord. But for Bhagavad Gita, we understand that the impersonalists are not devotees. Therefore, they are unable to see the universal form of the Lord. There are many persons who create incarnations. They falsely claim an ordinary human to be an incarnation, but this is all foolishness. We should follow the principles of Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, there is no possibility of attaining perfect spiritual knowledge. Although Bhagavad Gita is considered the preliminary study of the science of God, still it is so perfect that it enables to distinguish what is what. The followers of the pseudo incarnation may say that they have also seen the transcendental incarnation of God, the universal form, but that is unacceptable because it is clearly stated that unless one becomes a devotee of Krishna, one cannot see the universal form of God. So one first of all has to become a pure devotee of Krishna then he can claim that he can show the universal form of what he has seen. The devotee of Krishna cannot accept false incarnations or followers of all incarnations. Hare Krishna.
So this word na has been used many times. It is emphasizing. What it is emphasizing? The impossibility of others to see Lord by any different methods. Only by devotion. Krishna has emphasized it. Because you are a devotee. Demigods are devotees. They who are devotees, very easy description has been given by Srila Prabhupada because of the Shrutis which has been given, giving the quotation from the Shrutis, that it is very easy to recognize who is a devotee. One who has faith in Krishna, who accepts Lord as a supreme. One who does not do that is a demon. Simple. So a devotee only can see this beautiful universal form. So the form which was shown to Arjuna, to Duryodhana, is not this, because he is not a devotee. He did not accept the supremacy of Lord. Lord went as peace messenger. In fact, when Lord went, Duryodhana insulted Lord. It itself shows that he is not a devotee of Lord. Mate vitha macha vimula bhavo. 49th verse. Mate vitha macha vimula bhavo. Drishtva rupam ghoram idrunmamedam. व्यपेतभीप्रीतमनः पुनस्त्वात् पुनस्त्वं तदेव मे रूपमिदं प्रपश्य माते व्यथा मा च विमूढभावो दृष्ट्वा रूपं घोरम् इड्रुं ममेदं व्यपेतभिप्रीतमना पुनस्त्वं तदेव मे रूपमिदं प्रपश्य. I remember practicing these verses when I was doing the recording of Bhagavad Gita. So you can practice all this in the ISKCON Society. There's an app of Bhagavad Gita of mine. So chanting the verses. In that, very slowly, for learning purpose, I made this CD. So anybody can go to that app, get that CD. I can ask even Chandrapati Prabhu to put the link. So these verses, that time I used to practice so much. Chanting. Maybe 15 years before I did the recording. Mate vetha macha vimodha bhav. Ma, let it not be. So, te vyatha. So, let this form be not a trouble to you. Macha vimula bhava. Let this not bewilder you. See how loving is Krishna. He says, let this form be not disturbing you. Let this form not trouble you. Let this form not bewilder you. By seeing this form, please don't be troubled. Please don't be bewildered. Tishtva rupam ghoram idruk mamaidam. Though this form is horrible, but vipetabi, free yourself from all the fear. Pritamanaha. Be pleased in mind. Punastvam. Be free again from all disturbances. How you were before, like that be free. Be free from all disturbances. Tadeva me rupam idam prapashya. Now with a peaceful mind, look at me. Initially what happened was very disturbing. Suddenly my sweet Krishna has taken such a beautiful, such a universal form with all teeth and all these things. It was very disturbing. Now Krishna says, be settled. Come out from fear. Come out from bewilderment. I have taken this form because of my internal potency. And now with peaceful form, look at me. Somebody comes suddenly to look at Narsimha. Oh, what is this form? With the peaceful form, you look at Narsimha. Oh, so beautiful. So pleasant. So Krishna says, settle yourself. That means what is told here? A devotee is one whose mind becomes peaceful the moment he looks at Lord. That is why it is said, when you go before Lord, you cannot pray before him. Like you go before Balaji, Govinda, Govinda, Govinda. You go and pray, your vata and all increases. You cannot even pray. You will go with all the demands, but the moment you stand there, you forget everything. Because when you go before a great personality, automatically vata comes up. It comes till your head and you forget everything. Like your boss comes suddenly in your cabin. Immediately you get up. At the time, you don't know what to speak. He's a supreme boss. The moment you go before him, you're not able to ask anything. You may plan many things, but you will not ask anything. So then what happens? First, you have to cool your mind. That is why when you come out of the temple, first thing what you do is you sit down, you close your eyes. And real darshan happens after you sit and take. When you go before Lord, you don't know where to look first. Suppose there's a huge crowd. In our temples, generally no crowd, that's why we take all selfie and all those things. But in the temple like Pandharpur, or you see heavy crowded temples, you want to see, but where to see? Like till now to Govinda, I don't know what I have seen. Govinda, 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 just push. And then you go and see what you're seeing, you only don't know. But when you sit and calm yourself, whole Vigraha appears before you. You have seen. That time you are not knowing how much you have captured the sight. We don't know. But when you see, that is why it is a pratha. When you go to temples, after darshan, sit, meditate on the darshan. Now, what same thing Lord is telling? I have shown you, your vata increased, you are completely disturbed. Now sit with a peaceful mind, meditate. Simple it is. So this is actually a learning process for you. That is why Bhagavad Gita is a practical application. Generally, when you come out of the temples, we watch where to go in Govindas, we should go and eat or what. So what we should do is we should sit and meditate on the darshan what we have taken. In our ISKCON temples, we cannot do because it is anyhow, it is an open place. We are sitting anywhere and everywhere. When you go to heavily crowded temples, like Badrika Ashram and all those things, where heavy line is there and you get just a half second to see the Lord, come out, settle yourself, be calm, be peaceful, peaceful mind, take darshan. That time, whatever you have caught, it will come again. And that is the time you can meditate. So that is actually, this is the practical application. Okay. Anupama, read. Should I read with you?
Yes, you gave me the difficult one.
Difficult one. Okay. Mate vyatha,
Mate vyatha,
macha vimuda bhavo,
macha vimud bhavo,
drishtva rupam,
drishtva rupam,
ghoram,
ghoram,
idrum,
idram,
mamedam,
amidam,
mamedam,
mamedam,
vyapetabi,
vyapetyaabhi,
pritamana,
pritamanha,
punastvam,
punastvam,
tadeva me,
tadeva me,
rupam idam prapashya.
rupamidam prapashya.
Ah,
Now I will read myself.
yes.
Mate vyatha macha vimudha bhavo drashtavarupam ghoram idran mamedam vyapetabhiha
You should not say
pritha
ha. Just you should leave it there. Vyapeta bas. Vihi na. Vyapeta
vyapetabhi pritamanha
mana. Prita mana
pritamanha
punastvam.
punastvam tad eva me rupam idam prapasya.
See, aha, ihi, in between comes. Don't say. Just leave it.
Okay.
It should be there at the same time. Vihi, you should not say. In the last it comes, there you should say bihi. Like manaha. Last it comes manaha. In between it comes manha.
Okay,
Manha.
understood. Yeah.
Manha. That mana
Manha.
also you're not saying.
Manha
Manaha, you're
punastvam.
not saying manha. So it will not break your meter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Manha punastvam.
Yes.
Thank you.
Read.
Translation. You have been perturbed, perturbed, perturbed. You have been perturbed and bewildered by seeing this horrible feature of mine. Now let it be finished. My devotee, be free again from all disturbance. With a peaceful mind, you can see how form you desire. Purport. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna was worried about killing Bhishma and Drona, his worshipful grandfather and master. But Krishna said that he need not be afraid of killing his grandfather. When the sons of Dhritarashtra tried to disrobe Draupadi in the assembly of Kurus, Bhishma and Drona were silent, and for such negligence of duty they should be killed. Krishna showed his universal form to Arjuna just to show him that these people were already killed for their unlawful action. That scene has shown to Arjuna because devotees are always peaceful and they cannot perform such horrible actions. The purpose of the revelation of the universe form was shown. Now Arjuna wanted to see the four-armed form and Krishna showed him. A devotee is not much interested in the universal form, for it does not enable one to reciprocate loving feelings. Either a devotee wants to offer his respectful worship feelings, or he wants to see the two-handed Krishna form of that he can't
Procreate.
reciprocate in living service with
Loving
the
service.
Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare
I think
Krishna.
Vata is increased in your also. When the Vata increases, at that time you see leaving also, loving also is leaving. You know what is the solution for that? Take the oil and put on your head when you're reading the verses now. Okay. Sanjay Uvacha Ityarjunam Vasudevasthathokva Swakam Rupam Darshayamasa Bhuyaha. Now see, I did Bhuyaha here.
Bhuya.
Ah.
Yeah.
Ashvasayamasa cha bhitamenam Bhutva punha. I did not say punaha. Bhutva punha saumya vapu mahitma vapur mahatma. Sanjayo vacha ityarjunam vasudevasthathokva swakam rupam darshayamasa bhuyah ashvasayamasa cha bhitamenam bhutva punha saumya vapur mahatma. Iti Arjuna. Arjuna says, after speaking like this to Arjuna, Uktvaha. Uktvaha means speaking. How tatha? In this way. Swakam rupam darshayamasa bhuyah. The Lord showed again which form? His four-handed form. Then, in this way, again he removed his fear. Again he showed his Saumya Vapuhu, that is two-handed form. In this way, he encouraged the fearful Arjuna. From the universal form, he showed the Narayana Sarupa. From the Narayana Sarupa, he showed the Saumya Sarupa. That Saumya Sarupa is Shyam Sundar Sarupa. So in this way, Krishna displayed four-handed and at last two-handed form. Who is this person? Same, no? Same Lord, isn't it? Same Lord, universal, same Lord. 400, same Lord, two-handed. So is there any difference? There is no difference. When we say four things are not there in Narayana, Krishna intentionally does not show his Venu Madhurya, Rupa Madhurya, Parikara Madhurya, and Leela Madhurya. He is the same person. Like, yes, Anupama? Unmute. Not able to hear. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. We are reading like in verses, like in following verses, different form of Krishna. Like furious form, now we came to a four-handed form of Krishna. And when we go to the temple, especially in the ISKCON temple, we have again different forms, Jagannatha, then Gauranitai, then in Sham Sundar or like Radha Govindji. So in which form actually we should pray as a devotee? Like we have forms everywhere. At home we have different pictures. So sometimes it is confused to pray, like that praise really which form is we should pray to, he should accept our humble
Krishna accepts our
request.
services in every form. First thing, understand. Krishna accepts our service in every form. To facilitate our meditation, we take one form which is very appealing to us. Simple. He is the same person as Narsimha. He is the same person as Rama. He is the same person in the 400 form. He is the same person as Sham Sundar. So he is, by just seeing Narayana, 400. No, let me not see him. Let me see Krishna. We, with our buddhi, we are differentiating. He is the same person. That is why he is the same universal form. He is the same 400. He is the same two. Say Krishna, say Jagannatha, say Gaura, say Krishna, say Jagannath. Same persons. But if I am very convenient in meditating upon Gaurmita, I meditate. If I am very convenient in meditating upon Lakshmi Narasimha, okay, Lakshmi Narasimha. Wherever I am able to focus, like for someone like Mayapur form is very appealing. For somebody, Vrindavan form is very appealing. For someone, his own deities are very appealing. So it is not that if you have deities at home, if you're meditating on them, they are little less form, you should meditate on the bigger form. No. Like sometimes for me personally, Ranganatha form is very appealing. Simple. So I want to meditate on Ranganatha form. Sometimes for me appealing like I was practically on the deathbed, practically last year. My survival was very less because of the COVID and all those things. So that time, I don't know, I was not chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but Shivari Padam, I was telling. I was not meditating on even the face. I still remember, I was only meditating on the lotus feet, Shivari Padam, Shivari Padam. Because real examination is when you are in a very critical moment. Actually, when we are healthy now, we can look here and there. When we are critical, when we know now there is very less hope of my survival. At that time, what appeals you? And I still remember I could not chant only Hare Krishna because I did not have any strength to chant. I was just telling Shivari Padam, which I could chant properly. And I was only, I don't know, I was meditating only on the lotus feet of Govinda. Bas. So what appeals you? It doesn't matter. Main is our bhakti to Krishna, our bhakti to a spiritual master. So we cannot go beyond the lotus feet of Lord because we don't have that capacity even to look at his face. And to such an extent, Ramanujacharya says, I'm going to start this Ramanuja episode on this Saturday onwards, every Saturday Ramanuja episode. Ramanuja says, even to meditate on his lotus feet, we should have that qualification. Meditate on the lotus feet of a spiritual master. Simple. What can be more auspicious than this? What can be more auspicious? So when Ramanuja unmanifested his pastime, he meditated on Yamunacharya's lotus feet. He did not meditate on any form of Lord. He meditated on because he is Balram himself. He is showing with his practical example that we can just meditate on the lotus feet of our spiritual master. Simple. I have the lotus feet here. You can see. Wait. I'll show you. You can see Guru Maharaj's lotus feet is there. That much also comes in the consciousness, understand our life is successful. Our life is successful. So Hare Krishna Mahamantra, when I am chanting, then what I should do? I should meditate on each and every word of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. When I say Hare, I should know. In the Devanagari form, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Enough. Even if I see this letter, Abhinatvam Nama Namino Chinta Mani Krishna's Nama Chinta Mani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasavigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Abhinatvam Nama Namino. Even when you are able to see Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that is enough. We don't have to struggle which form Hare Krishna, which form Hare Krishna, which form. No. Even I have to see, able to see Hare Krishna Mahamantra nicely, buzz. That is enough. That is art of chanting. Mahanidhi Swami has written in Art of Chanting. Just meditate on Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Enough. So you can do that. Simple things only our Prabhupada has given. Prabhupada has not given very difficult processes for us. If somebody is able to focus on Narayana, no problem. What is the problem? Focus on Narayana. Just because we are focusing on Narayana, oh my God, we'll go to Vaikuntha, not in Goloka. Come out of all this. Come on. Okay. We'll read. Anupama, your hands are okay. Manojha Prabhu, if you don't have disturbance there, read. If a child is screaming, beaming, then give it to somebody else. No disturbance, then you read.
There will be some disturbance.
Okay, read. Kanchan Mishra, read. Mute your phone.
Hare Krishna Mataji Dandavat Pranam. Sanjay Uvacha Ityarjunam Vasudevas Tathotva Swakam Rupam Darsayama Subhuyah Ashvashayamasha Chabhitaminam Bhutva Punah Saumya Vapur Mahatma.
Very good. All have become Pandita. Read.
Translation. Sanjay said to Dhritarashtra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, having spoken thus to Arjuna, displayed his real four-armed form and at last showed his two-armed form, thus encouraging the fearful Arjuna. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When Krishna appeared as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, he first of all prepared as four-armed Narayana. But when he was requested by his parents, he transformed himself into an ordinary child in appearance. Similarly, Krishna knew that Arjuna was not interested in seeing a four-handed form. But since Arjuna asked to see this four-handed form, Krishna also showed him this form again and then showed himself in his two-handed form. The word Saumya Vapu is very significant. Saumya Vapu is a very
Saumya
Vapu is a very beautiful form. It is known as the most beautiful form. When he was present, everyone was attracted simply by Krishna's form, and because Krishna is the director of the universe, he just banished the fear of Arjuna, his devotee, and showed him again his beautiful form of Krishna. In the Brahma Samhita 5.38, it is stated Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochana. Only a person whose eyes are smeared with the ointment of love can see the beautiful form of Sri Krishna. Hare Krishna.
So Saumya Rupaha, where loving relationship, very loving transactions can happen. 400 form naturally, Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. There is some small restriction for the devotees. And the Gopakumaras went to Vaikuntha. These are the same Krishna. But this Sudarshana, The Sudarshana is coming in our way. How can a person go in near the Sudarshana? Like if your father is sitting with a rifle in the hand, you cannot go near father. The policeman is a policeman, no problem. But if he shows the same form in the house, the child cannot go near, he is afraid. The same father who is the police inspector, when he is in the office, naturally the approach of the child to his father in the office will be little different. Same father, when he comes home, he becomes a horse. Isn't it? Like children play, chalo, ghoda ghoda khelo. Horse ban jao. He may be the director of the company, but in the house, what is he doing? He is becoming a donkey, he is becoming gadha, vida, everything. What director? He cannot show any directorship. So that is Soumya, where the transaction is very, very simple with the father. So, but that can be done only by family members. So it is not so easy to become Golokvasi. For that, we have to be born in Gopi's womb. To enter in a family of a person, it is not simple. In your house only, you are very free with your wife, with your children. Can anybody from outside come and become your family member? They can have different dealings with you outside. They can be your friend, they can be your subordinate. They will have different relationship. But to enter that home, either he should get his daughter or son married to your house, but that also there is restriction. There is a restriction. Even if daughter-in-law comes, daughter-in-law cannot be so free with the father-in-law. So there also, so these are very in our, this is a reflection. Material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. That is why what relationship gopis have with Krishna, that nobody can even think of. Even Yashoda Mata cannot think of. It's not so easy. It's the highest conjugal relation. Parakiya Bhavarasa, it is exhibited in this material world. Parakiya. In the spiritual world, everything is Krishna. Gopis belong to Krishna. They are not wives of some husband, some other husband. But Krishna want to relish Parakiya Bhavarasa. That is why Bhauma Leela is there. So to enter that rasa, even Lakshmi is doing tapasya. To experience Parakiya Bhavarasa in the Bhauma Leela. But same Lakshmi in Vaikuntha is there with having Madhurya. Which Madhurya? That is Swakiya Madhurya. With in Narayana, with having the Jnana. Yes, my husband is Lord. Massaging his feet in Vaikuntha. My Lord is the Supreme Lord of the whole universe. Same Krishna is massaging the feet of Radharani in Goloka. Same Radharani appears as Lakshmi. Because in office she cannot say, massage my feet. In home she can do that. So we should not think, oh, Mahalakshmi and Radharani are different or what. Same. One has gone along with the husband to the office. One is in the home. In the house, what you do, even if you are working along with your husband, what you will do? In the house, you will tell your husband to wipe the fan and everything. But in the office, you will not do that because other colleagues are also watching you. You respect your husband, others will also respect your husband. But in the house, you can even scold him. So simple, these are the simple things by which we can at least appreciate the importance of gopis. They are not ordinary gopis. Shrutichari gopis, Rishichari gopis, Devachari gopis, they are all doing tapasya to be a part of the Ras dance. But Nitya Siddha gopis, they are always with Krishna. To get that position of Nitya Siddha gopis, even Shrutis, that is Vedas, have done tapasyas. Dandakaranya rishis have done tapasyas. Just imagine. So many are doing tapasyas to enter just the Ras dance. So that is all very higher topics anyhow. Arjuna uvacha drishtvedam manusham rupam tava saumyam janardana इदानीमस्मि संवृत्तः सचेतः प्रकृतिगतः अर्जुन उवाच दृष्ट्वेदं मानुषं रूपं तव सौम्यं जनार्दन इदानीमस्मि संवृत्तः सचेता प्रकृतिं परः. When Arjuna saw Krishna in his original form, अरे human like form, अरे मेरा यार वापस आ गया. My Lord has come back again. My friend has come back again. So beautiful. Now I am composed in my mind. Idanimasmi samvruttaha. Now I am settled. Suddenly he has seen his friend, universal form, 400 form, again back. Oh, again my Yadava has come. Again my Sakha has come. Sachetasaha prakritim gataha. Oh, he has come to his own nature. He has returned back. Imagine your son has become the president of India. Then you are seeing him in all opulence, everything. But you are waiting for the day when he'll come back, when he'll sit in his home dress and I'll feed him hot pancakes or something like that, isn't it? That is what every mother wants. So this is a loving relation. Though he may be very exalted position, but my Sakha is my Sakha. He should sit with me and eat. Your husband may be very highest position, he may be president of India, but still what a wife wants, he should sit along with him, along with me and eat. So you should understand, these are the verses where such a bhava is there, that sakha, sakhya bhava is there, where he says, oh, at last he has come back. And now I am settled. Mother cannot see the opulence of the son. Wife cannot see the opulence of her husband. Because the relationship is so sweet, or the sweetness has overpowered opulence. You can experience also. If your child shows opulence before, I am the temple president, I am the president of India or I'm president of America. You say, enough, yeah. To make you president, you have drunk my milk. You'll say that, no? Your buddhi is because I have fed you. So opulence doesn't work, doesn't stand. It so happened. Suddenly, Krishna is adrishya. The gopis are searching for Krishna. Then Krishna thought, let me play some game. Krishna stood in 400 form. All the gopis came, oh Lord, Narayana, did you see our Krishna? I am showing my opulence. These people are asking, where is Krishna? Anyway, I told, that's it. Go. He was waiting for Radharani to come. Radharani comes. Radharani just looks at him. Just by looking at the sweetness of Radharani, his two hands fell off. That means opulence could not stand before the dashing sweetness. Yeah. Okay. Gadi Prabhu, is your voice audible now? Did something with your phone?
Is it okay, Mataji, now?
Yes.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Arjuna Vacha Drishtevadam Manusham Rupam Tava Soumya Janardana Idanimasmi Samvrutaha Sacheta Pragutim Gataha. When Arjuna thus saw Krishna in his original form, he said, "O Janardana, seeing this human-like form, so very beautiful, I am now composed in mind, and I am restored to my original nature." Purport by Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Here the words Manusham Rupam clearly indicate the supreme personality of Godhead to be originally two-handed. Those who deride Krishna as if he were an ordinary person are here to be like an ordinary human being. Then how is it possible for him to show the universal form and to show 400 Narayana form? So it is very clearly stated in Bhagavad Gita that one who thinks that Krishna is an ordinary person and who misguides her by claiming that it is the impersonal Brahman within the Krishna speaking is doing the greatest injustice. Krishna has actually shown his universal form and his 400 Vishnu form. So now, can he be an ordinary human being? A pure devotee is not confused by misguiding commentaries on Bhagavad Gita because he knows what is what. The original verses of Bhagavad Gita are as clear as the sun. They do not require lamplight from foolish commentators. Hare Krishna.
श्रीभगवानुवाच सुदुर्दर्शमिदं सुदुर्दर्शमिदं रूपं दृष्ट्वा नसीयन्मम देवा अप्यस्य रूपस्य नित्यं दर्शनकाङ्क्षिणः श्रीभगवानुवाच सुदुर्दर्शमिदं रूपं दृष्ट्वा नसीयन्मम देवाप्यस्य रूपस्य नित्यं दर्शनकाङ्क्षिणः. The Lord says, Sudurdarsham, very difficult to see. What you have seen is a very difficult form. Even devatas cannot see. Very difficult to behold. It means very difficult to even meditate. Devatas are also seeking this opportunity, aspiring, darshana kankshina. They are also aspiring to see this form. Now, this form of mine you are seeing now. Now, which form? Already universal form also is very difficult to see. Even Shyam Sundar form is very difficult to meditate upon. Even Shyam Sundar form is also, two-handed form is also very difficult to hold. This you are seeing now, which is, that means either it can be universal form which Krishna is expressing, or even two-handed form. Any form of Krishna is not so easy to attain, not so easy to get. Even the devatas are aspiring to see. Even you can say two-handed form or four-handed form or universal form. So form of Krishna, Krishna says, Tesham satatiktanam vajatam priti purapam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mama payantite. I give that buddhi to understand me. It's not so easy to understand any form. Now we think that we are going and taking Radha Krishna darshan. Actually, we are taking Lakshmi Narayana darshan. We are not seeing Radha Krishna because we don't know how to see also. What actually we are seeing is Lakshmi Narayana in the temple. Because to see the sweetness, we don't have that type of samarthya, that type of qualification. So it may be two-handed form, but actually they are Lakshmi Narayana, they are opulent form, whom we are seeing. Though they may be Shyam Sundar, Radha Shyam Sundar, but we are not seeing Radharani because we don't have the eyes to see Radharani. What we are actually seeing is Lakshmi Narayana, who are the controllers of the whole universe. The gopis only can see Shyam Sundar. Brajavasis only can see Shyam Sundar. Mamekam Sharanam Braja. Okay. Daya Sagar Prabhu, please read. You are there, Prabhu? Daya Sagar Prabhu. You can read, Anupama?
He is listening, yeah, he is not able
Okay.
to.
Parthabandhu Prabhu, you read.
श्रीभगवान् उवाच सुदुर्दर्शमिदं रूपं दृष्ट्वा नसीयन्मम देवा अप्यस्य रूपस्य नित्यं दर्शनकाङ्क्षिणः. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjuna, this form of mine you are now seeing is very difficult to behold. Even the demigods are even seeking the opportunity to see this form which is so dear." Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In the 48th verse of this chapter, Lord Krishna concluded revealing his universal form and informed Arjuna that this form is not possible to be seen by so many pious activities, sacrifices, etc. Now, here the word Sudurdarshanam is used, indicating that Krishna's two-handed form is still more confidential. One may be able to see the universal form of Krishna, by adding a little tinge of devotional service to your various activities like penances, Vedic study, and philosophical speculation. It may be possible, but without a tinge of bhakti, one cannot see that has already been explained. Still, beyond that universal form, the form of Krishna with two hands is still more difficult to see, even for demigods like Brahma and Lord Shiva. They desire to see him, and we have evidence in the Srimad Bhagavatam that when he was supposed to be in the womb of his mother Devaki, all the demigods from heaven came to see the marvel of Krishna, and they offered nice prayers to the Lord, although he was not at that time visible to them. They waited to see him. A foolish person may deride him, thinking him an ordinary person, and may offer respect not to him but to the impersonal, something within him. But these are all nonsensical postures. Krishna in his two-armed form is actually desired to be seen by demigods like Brahma and Shiva. In Bhagavad Gita 9.11, it is also confirmed, Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanumashritam. He is not visible to the foolish person who deride him. Krishna's body, as confirmed by Brahma Samhita and confirmed by Krishna himself in the Bhagavad Gita, is completely spiritual and full of bliss and eternity. His body is never like a material body. But for some who make a study of Krishna by reading Bhagavad Gita or similar Vedic scriptures, Krishna is a problem. For one using material process, Krishna is considered to be a great historical personality and very learned philosopher. But he is an ordinary man, and even though he was so very powerful, he had to accept a material body. Ultimately, they think that the absolute truth is impersonal. Therefore, they think that from his impersonal feature, he assumed a personal feature attached to material nature. This is the materialistic calculation of the Supreme Lord. Another calculation is speculative. Those who are in search of knowledge also speculate on Krishna and consider him to be less important than the universal form of the Supreme. Thus, some think that the universal form of Krishna, which was manifested to Arjuna, is more important than his personal form. According to them, the personal form of the Supreme is something imaginary. They believe that in the ultimate issue, the absolute truth is not a person, but the transcendental process is described in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4. To hear about Krishna,
Yeah. What happened? What happened?
from authority. And by repeated hearing about him, Krishna becomes dear. As we have several times discussed, Krishna is covered by his Yogamaya potency. He is not to be seen or revealed to anyone and everyone. Only by one to whom he reveals himself can be seen. This is confirmed in the Vedic literature. For one who is surrendered soul, the absolute truth can actually be understood. The transcendentalist, by continuous Krishna consciousness and by devotional service to Krishna, can have his spiritual eyes opened and can see Krishna by revelation. Such a revelation is not possible even for the demigods. Therefore,
Hmm. Therefore, it is difficult even for the demigods to understand Krishna, and the advanced demigods are always in hope of seeing Krishna in his two-handed form. The conclusion is that although to see the universal form of Krishna is very, very difficult and not possible for anyone and everyone, it is more difficult to understand Krishna as Shyam Sundar. So very clearly it has been said, it's not so easy. Naham Prakasha Sarvasya, Krishna says in 7th chapter, 25th verse. When Krishna appears in two-handed form, everybody could not understand, could not appreciate. It is not so easy to understand even two-handed form. As much as universal form, four-handed form is difficult to understand. More difficult is to understand the sweetness of Krishna. At least in one sense, opulence can be understood, but sweetness to understand is very, very difficult. Naham vedirna tapasa nadanena cha tejyaya shakya evam vido drashtum drishtavanasi mam yatha. Naham vedirna tapasa nadanena chejyaya shakya evam vido drashtum drishtavanasi mam yatha. Again Krishna says, this form, now 200 form, you are seeing with the transcendental eyes, cannot be understood by studying Vedas, nor by some severe penances, tapasaha, na danena, neither by charity. So again it is repeated as see. Before that also Krishna told, even to see universal form or 400 form, not by all these things, not by even your worship, it's not so easy to see me as I am. That means to get me as I am, not by all these things a person can get. And you said, then what we should do? Just wait for the mercy and do yatha deve tatha yatha yasya deve para bhakti yatha deve tatha guru tasyete kattayatam prakashante mahatmana. Just serve the spiritual master in a sincere way. Krishna will, whenever he wants, Sattenu Kampatam, Sanikshamano, Bhunjane Vatmakitam Vipakam, Hidva Gupurbir Vidadar Namaste Jiveto Yomukti Padai Sadaiva. Just become eligible to get that Anukampa. And for that eligibility, one has to get certificate from our Guru Shishya Parampara. Just serve Guru Shishya Parampara, the most easiest way to attain Krishna's mercy. Because if you see like this and all, oh, not by worship also, not by dana also, not by tapasya, what we are doing then? We should not lose hopes. Why? Our Prabhupada has put us in the process. Prabhupada says, catch my dhoti. Enough, catch his dhoti. That means what? Follow me. Just follow what our acharyas have told. Simple. Okay. Vaishnava Prabhu, please read.
Hare Krishna. Naham Vederna tapsa nadanena na chejya shakya evam vido
देखो अभी बस बोला
दृष्टवानसि माम यथा.
surprise हो गई.
Translation. The form you are seeing with your transcendental eyes cannot be understood simply by studying the Vedas, nor by undergoing serious penances, nor by charity, nor by worship. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Krishna first appeared before his parents Devaki and Vasudev in a 400 form, and then he transformed himself into the 200 form. This mystery is very difficult to understand for those who are atheists or who are devoid of devotion service. For scholars who have simply studied Vedic literature by way of grammatical knowledge or mere academic qualifications, Krishna is not possible to understand, nor is he to be understood by persons who officially go to the temple to offer worship. They make their visit, but they cannot understand Krishna as he is. Krishna can be understood only through the path of devotion service, as explained by Krishna himself in the next verse. Hare Krishna.
In the next verse, I'm so surprised. Just now I saw same verse what we just chanted. Yasya deve para bhakte yatha deve tatha guru tasyete katitaya prakashante mahatmana. Prabhupada quotes this verse. So 54th verse. Bhaktya tvananyaya shakya hammevam vidorjuna yatum drashtum cha tatvena praveshtum cha parantapa. Bhaktya tvananyaya shakya hammevam vidorjuna yatum drashtum cha tatvena praveshtum cha parantapa. Krishna says only by bhaktyatva ananya bhakti. Ananya bhakti means not mixed with any anyabhilashita shunyam. Jnana Karmadi Anavritam. Anyhow, when you are going to study nectar of devotion, these all verses will come. So, Sarvopadi Vinirmuktam, Tatparatvena Nirmalam, no desire for any upadhi, unalloyed devotion, no desire for any speculative knowledge or fruitive activity. So, with that undivided love, bhakti means love. When you love, then only you serve. If that is the Shakya, if that is possible, then that is possible to me, have me evam vidaha in this way. Dhyatum drashtum cha tattvena. Then you can see me directly. You can know me. You can see me. Praveshtum cha parantapa. In this way, you can enter the mysteries of my understanding. To know Krishna Tattva. 4 tattvas are very difficult to understand. Guru Tattva, Dhama Tattva, Krishna Tattva, and Radha Tattva. Tattva means truth. Guru may seem to be one of us, but very difficult to understand Guru Tattva. Very difficult to understand Dhama Tattva. Oh, what I am seeing, the same road, same building. Oh, the same hotels are here. So when we enter Dham, we enter with this all consciousness. That is why Dham is not entered with our mundane consciousness. These tattvas are very difficult. Krishna Tattva, and most difficult to understand is Radha Tattva. So these 4 tattvas are very difficult to understand. But if Krishna's mercy is there, only by his anukampa, tattenukampartham. If his anukampa is there, then Krishna says, you can enter into the mysteries of my understanding. So Krishna says, just by unalloyed devotion, where there is no desire for anything, there is no desire for any fruitive activities, no desire for any speculative knowledge, undivided attention, unmotivated, undeviated, sarvopadi vinirmuktvam, or sarvadharman parityaja, completely surrendered to Krishna, ahaituki apratihata. All this is Krishna has spoken many, many times. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yatho bhakti radokshade ahaituki apratihata yatma suprasidati. Krishna says in Bhagavatam. So, unalloyed devotion refers to unmotivated, undeviated. What is that motivation? No desire for speculative knowledge, no desire for fruitive activities. Then Krishna says you can enter where? Into this truth. Okay. Sudha Mataji, can you read? The many are absent, huh?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Mataji, today I am unable to read. Sorry for that.
No problem. Okay, Krishna Priya read.
Satya satya ahamevam vidorjuna jnatum drashtum cha tatvena praveshtum cha parantapa. Translation. My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysterious of my understanding. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, till Prabhupada ki jai. Krishna can be understood only by the process of undivided devotional service. He explicitly explains this in these verses so that unauthorized commentators who try to understand Bhagavad Gita by the speculative process will know that they are simply wasting their time. No one can understand Krishna or how he came from present in a four-handed form and at once changed himself into a two-handed form. These things are very difficult. Sorry, Mohini Mataji, please mute. Thank you.
Yeah, read.
These things are very difficult to understand by study of the Vedas or by philosophical speculation. Therefore, it is clearly stated here that no one can see him or enter into understanding of their matters. Those who, however, are very experienced students of Vedic literature can learn about him from the Vedic literature in so many ways. There are so many rules and regulations, and if one at all wants to understand Krishna, he must follow the regulative principles described in the authoritative literature. One can perform penance in accordance with those principles. For example, to undergo serious penances, one may observe fasting on Janmashtami, the day on which Krishna appeared, and one on the 2 days of Ekadasi, the 11th day after the new moon and the 11th day after full moon. As far as charity is concerned, it is plain that charity should be given to the devotee of Krishna who are engaged in his devotional service to spread the Krishna philosophy or Krishna consciousness throughout the world. Krishna consciousness is a benediction to humanity. Lord Chaitanya was appreciated by Rupa Goswami as the most magnificent man of charity because love of Krishna, which is very difficult to achieve. We distributed freely by him. So if one gives some amount of his money to persons involved in distributing Krishna consciousness, that charity given to spread Krishna consciousness is the greatest charity in the world. And if one worship as prescribed in the temple in India, there is always some statue, usually of Vishnu or Krishna. That is a chance to progress by offering worship and respect to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For the beginners in devotional service to the Lord, temple worship is essential, and this is confirmed in the Vedic literature. Sveta Upanishad. Yasya devasa bhaktya yatha deve tadha guru tasya te padita vyadya yakasante mahatmanaha. One who has unfetching devotion for the Supreme Lord and is directed by the spiritual master in whom he has similar unflinching faith, can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead by revelation. One cannot understand Krishna by mental speculation. For one who does not take personal training under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, it is impossible to even begin to understand Krishna. The word "tu" is specifically used here to indicate that no other process can be used, can be recommended, or can be successful in understanding Krishna. The personal form of Krishna, the two-handed form and four-handed, are completely different from the temporary universal form shown to Arjuna. The four-handed form of Narayana and the two-handed form of Krishna are eternal and transcendental, whereas the universal form exhibited to Arjuna is temporary. The very word Sudarsham, meaning difficult to see, suggests that no one had seen that universal form. It also suggests that amongst the devotees there was no necessity of showing it. That form was exhibited by Krishna at the request of Arjuna, so that in the future, when one represents himself as an incarnation of God, people can ask to see his universal form. The word "na," used repeatedly in the previous verses, indicates that one should not be very much proud of such credentials as an academic education in Vedic literature. One must take to the devotional service of Krishna, only then can attempt to write commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. Krishna changes from the universal form to the four-handed form of Narayana and then to his own natural form of two hands. This indicates that four-handed form and other forms mentioned in Vedic literature are all emanations of the original two-handed Krishna. He is the origin of all emanations. Krishna is distinct even from these forms. What to speak of the impersonal conceptions as far as the four-handed form of Krishna are concerned? It is stated clearly that even the most identical four-handed form of Krishna, which is known as Mahavishnu, who is laying on the cosmic ocean and from whose breathing so many innumerable universes are passing out and entering, is also an expansion of the Supreme Lord. As stated in the Brahma Samhita, Esyaki यस्या कविस्मितकालमभाव्यलम्बा जीवन्ति लोमविलजाजगदन्दना
लोकमातनाथ विष्णुर्महांस इह यस्य कलाविशेषो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यस्यैकनिश्वसितकालमथावलम्ब्य जीवन्ति लोमविलजा जगदण्डनाथः विष्णुर्महांस इह यस्य कलाविशेषो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि.
The Mahavishnu, into whom all the innumerable universe enter and from whom they come forth again simply by his breathing process, is a plenary expansion of Krishna. Therefore, I worship Govinda, Krishna, the causes of all causes. Therefore, one should conclusively worship the personal form of Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has eternal bliss and knowledge, is the sources of all forms of Vishnu, is the sources of all the forms of incarnation, and is the original Supreme Personality as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. In the Vedic literature, Gopala Tapani Upanishad, the following statement appears. Satchidananda Rupaya Krishnaya Klishtakarine Namo Vedanta Vedjaya Gurave Buddhi Sakshine. I offer my respectable obeisances into Krishna, who has a transcendental form of bliss, eternity and knowledge. I offer my respect to him because understanding him means understanding the Vedas, and he is therefore the supreme spiritual master. Then it is said, Krishna vai Paramaha Daivatam. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Gopala Tapani 1.3. Eko Vaisi Sarvagaha Krishna Idayaha. That one, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is the worshipable. Ekopi San Bahudhavyo Vaibhati. Krishna is one, but is manifested in unlimited forms and expanded incarnations. Gopala Tapani 1.2.1. The Brahma Samhita. Isvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadinadir Govinda
Sarvakaranam.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna, who has a body of eternity, knowledge and bliss. He has no beginning, for he is the beginning of everything. He is the causes of all causes. Elsewhere, it is said, Yatra Vatirnam Krishnakhyam Paramam Brahma Nakarti. The supreme absolute truth is a person. His name is Krishna, and he sometimes descends on the earth. Similarly, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we found a description of all kinds of incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in this list, the name of Krishna also appears. But then it is said that this Krishna is not an incarnation of God, but this is original Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. It is Samsya Kalaha Pumsaha Krishna to Bhagavan Swayam. Similarly, in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Mitaha Parat Paraha Nayati. There is nothing superior to my form as the personality of Godhead Krishna. He also says elsewhere, the Bhagavad Gita, Aham Adirhi Devanam. I am the origin of all the demigods. And after understanding Bhagavad Gita from Krishna, Arjuna also confirmed this in the following words. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram Paramam Bhavam. I know, fully understand that you are the Supreme Personality of God and absolute truth, and that you are the refugee of everything. Therefore, the universal form which Krishna showed to Arjuna is not the original form of God. The original is the Krishna's form, the universal form, with its thousands and thousands of heads and hands is manifest just to draw the attention of those who have no love of God. It is not God's original form. The universal form is not attractive for pure devotees who are in love with the Lord in different in transcendental relationships. The Supreme Godhead exchanged transcendental love in his original form of Krishna. Therefore, to Arjuna, who was so intimately related with Krishna in friendship, this form of the universal manifestation was not pleasing. Rather, it was fearful. Arjuna, who was a constant companion of Krishna's, must have had transcendental eyes. He was not an ordinary man. Therefore, he was not captivated by the universal form. This form may seem wonderful to persons who are involved in elevating themselves by fruity activities. But to persons who are engaged in devotional service, the two-handed form of Krishna is the most
dear.
Hare
Krishna says a big purpose. See, Prabhupada finds opportunity where he can just glorify pure devotional service. They said, Atha Shri Krishna Namadina Bhaved Dhayam Indrehi Sevon Mukhaihi Jivado Swayameva Spurtiyata. We just have to serve whatever has been told to us. See, every type of rice needs different quantity of water. So the one who has surrendered to Rodhidhara, there are certain things which has been told to us. Just have to follow that much. If you follow that, Sevon Mukhahi Jivado. If we serve nicely, if we have been told this seva we have to do, if we do that, Swayam eva spurtiyadaha, let Krishna reveal himself. Krishna cannot be revealed by Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhyas, not by more of pravachan or by Namedaya Shrutena, Bahuna Shrutena, not by hearing or not by our own intelligence. Yamesha Atma Vrutitim Swam. If Krishna desires, it will happen. So whatever service has been given to us by a spiritual master, just we have to do that. Simple. It's very easy to perform devotional service if we don't speculate. If we start speculating, then it becomes difficult. If we have faith, this is the only thing by which we can purchase Krishna. Shraddhavan Janah. We can bind Krishna. It's not so easy, but at the same time, it is very easy. Just follow what has been told. Simple. Like crossing the street becomes easy just by listening to our mother. Catch mother's hand, cross. Hold Acharya's lotus feet, cross. Simple. Next, last verse. Matkarma krun matparamo madbhakta sanghavarjitah nirvaira sarvabhuteshu yahasamamiti pandava. Matkarma krun matparamo madbhakta sanghavarjitah nirvaira sarvabhuteshu yahasamamiti pandava. Pandava. Matkarma, engage in my work. Matparama, consider me as a supreme. Madbhakta, engage in my devotional service. Sangavarjitaha, free yourself from all the contamination of fruitive activities and mental speculation. Nirvaira, have no enviousness towards anyone, no enemies. Sarva bhuteshu, that means love everyone. Yahasamamiti Pandava, then you can come back to me. Krishna says. That means you fight without having any enmity. Just see how difficult it is to fight with someone without having any hatred. Now Krishna tells to fight. At the same time, Krishna says, don't have any enmity. That means you fight for justice, but don't hate a person. It is said, hate the sin, not the sinner. So then it's proverb, hate the sin, but not the sinner. In fact, one should have more compassion towards the sinners. When Prabhupada was going in a car, and that time the devotees had formed and all these things. So the devotees said, Prabhupada, look, this is casino. Oh, Prabhupada, they are all sinners. They are all sinners. Now this person is pakka going to hell. Is going to hell. This person will go to hell. When the decision came, Prabhupada said, when I looked at you, I did not think that. I never had that thought that you are going to go to hell. In fact, we should have compassion for a sinner. We should have compassion for a person who is sick. Performing sin means he is actually sick. He has not revived his consciousness. So as a devotee, here Krishna says, you are a devotee, O Pandava. Don't have any enmity towards any living entity. Even if you are engaged in the fight, it is just because I have told you. Simple. I have actually swallowed everyone. You fight just nimitta matra bhavasabhya sachin. Simple. So it is the most difficult task to deal with those who have enmity with you. So hate the sin, not the sinner. This we have to learn actually. This we have to learn and put it in practice. This verse is very important. Nirvaira sarva bhuteshu. How it is possible in the warfare? But still Krishna says, Nirvaira sarva bhuteshu. Yahasamameti Pandava. Then you can come back to me. Verses are very beautiful, isn't it? You feel like to be absorbed again and again in these verses. Okay, Hansuti Prabhu, read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Matparmo matbhakta sanghavarjitah nirvaira sarvabhuteshu yasamameti Pandava. Translation. My dear Arjun, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anyone who wants to approach the supreme of all the personalities of Godhead on the Krishna Loka planet in the spiritual sky and be intimately connected with the supreme personality, Krishna must take this formula as stated by the Supreme himself. Therefore, this verse is considered to be the essence of Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is a book directed to the conditioned souls who are engaged in the material world with the purpose of lording it over nature and who do not know the real spiritual life. The Bhagavad Gita is meant to show how one can understand his spiritual existence and his eternal relationship with the Supreme Spiritual Personality, and to teach one how to go back home, back to Godhead. Now here is a verse which clearly explains the process by which one can attain success in his spiritual activity, devotional service. As far as work is concerned, one should transfer his energy entirely to Krishna conscious activities, as stated in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.255. Anasakte se vishayana yatharma upayanjata nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyam uchyate. No work should be done by any man except in relationship to Krishna. This is called Krishna karma. One may be engaged in various activities, but one should not be attached to the result of his work. The result should be done only for him. For example, one may be engaged in a business, but to transform that activity into Krishna consciousness, one has to do business for Krishna. If Krishna is the proprietor of the business, then Krishna should enjoy the profit of the business. If a businessman is in possession of thousands and thousands of dollars and he has to offer all this to Krishna, he can do it. This is work for Krishna. Instead of constructing a big building for his sense gratification, he can construct a nice temple for Krishna. And he can install the deity of Krishna and arrange for the deity's service and is outlined in the authorized books of devotional service. This is all for Krishna karma. One should not be attached to the result of his work, but the result should be offered to Krishna. And one should accept as prasadam the remnants of offerings to Krishna. If one constructs a very big building for Krishna and installs the deity of Krishna, one is not prohibited for living there. But it is understood that the proprietor of the building is Krishna. This is called Krishna consciousness. If, however, one is not able to construct a temple for Krishna, one can engage himself in cleansing the temple of Krishna. That is also Krishna karma. One can cultivate garden. Anyone who has land in India, at least any poor man has a certain amount of land, can utilize that for Krishna by growing flowers to offer him. One can sow tulsi plants because tulsi leaves are very important, and Krishna has recommended this in Bhagavad Gita. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. Krishna desires that one offer him either a leaf or flower or fruit or a little water, and by such an offering he is satisfied. This leaf especially refers to tulsi. So one can sow tulsi and pour water on the plant. Thus, even the poorest man can engage in the service of Krishna. These are some of the examples of how one can engage in working for Krishna. The word Mat Parma refers to one who considers the association of Krishna in his supreme abode to be the highest perfection of life. Such a person does not wish to be elevated to the higher planets, such as moon or sun or heavenly planet, or even the highest planet of this universe, Brahmaloka. He has no attraction for that. He is only attracted to being transferred to the spiritual sky. And even in the spiritual sky, he is not satisfied with merging into the glowing Brahma Jyoti effulgence. For he wants to enter the highest spiritual planet, namely Krishna Loka, Goloka, Vrindavan. He has full knowledge of that planet, and therefore he is not interested in any other, as again indicated by the word Mad Bhakta. He fully engages in devotional service, especially in the 9 process of devotional engagement: hearing, chanting, remembering, worshipping, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering prayers, carrying out the orders of the Lord, making friends with him, and surrendering everything to him. One can engage in all 9 devotional service processes, or 8 or 7, or at least one, and that will surely make one perfect. The term Sangha Varjita is very significant. One should disassociate himself from persons who are against Krishna. Not only are the atheistic persons against Krishna, but so also are those who are attracted to fruitive activities and mental speculation. Therefore, the pure form of devotional service is described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11 as follows. Anya Bhilashita Shunyam Vina Karmade Navritam Anukulyane Krishna Shilanam Bhakti Uttama. In this verse, Rupa Goswami clearly states that if anyone wants to execute unallied devotion service, he must be freed from all kinds of material contamination He must be freed from the association of persons who are addicted to the fruitive activities and material speculation. When freed from such unwanted association and from the contamination of material desires, one favorably cultivates knowledge of Krishna, that is called pure devotional service, Anukulya Sankalpa, Pratikulya Varjanam, Hari Bhakti Vilas 11.676. One should think of Krishna and act of Krishna for favorably, not unfavorably. Krishna was an enemy of Krishna's. Sorry, Kamsa was an enemy of Krishna from the very beginning of Krishna's birth. Kamsa planned in so many ways to kill him, and because he was always unsuccessful, he was always thinking of Krishna. Thus, while working, while eating, while sleeping, he was always Krishna conscious in every respect. But that Krishna consciousness was not favorable, and therefore, in spite of his always thinking of Krishna 24 hours a day, he was considered a demon. And Krishna at last killed him, of course. Anyone who is killed by Krishna attains salvation immediately. But that is not the aim of the pure devotee. The pure devotee does not even want salvation. He does not want to be transferred even to the highest planet, Golok Vrindavan. His only objective is to serve Krishna wherever he may be. A devotee of Krishna is friendly to everyone. Therefore, it is said here that he has no enemy, nirvariha. How is this? A devotee situated in Krishna consciousness knows that only devotional service to Krishna can relieve a person from all the problems of life. He has personal experience of this, and therefore he wants to introduce this system, Krishna consciousness, into human society. There are many examples of in history of the devotees of the Lord who risked their lives for the spreading of God consciousness. The favorite example is Lord Jesus Christ. He was crucified by the non-devotees, but he sacrificed his life for spreading God consciousness. Of course, it would be superficial to understand that he was killed. Similarly, in India, there are many examples such as Thakur Haridas and Prahlad Maharaj. Why such risk? Because they want to spread Krishna consciousness, and it is difficult. A Krishna conscious person who knows that if a man is suffering, it is due to his forgetfulness of his eternal relationship with Krishna. Therefore, the highest benefit one can render to human society is relieving one's neighbor from all material problems. In such a way, a pure devotee is engaged in the service of the Lord. Now we can imagine how merciful Krishna is to those engaged in his service, risking everything for him. Therefore, it is certain that such person must reach the supreme planet after leaving the body. In summary, the universal form of Krishna, which is temporary manifestation, and the form of time, which devours everything, and even the form of Vishnu 400 have all exhibited by Krishna. Thus, Krishna is the origin of all these manifestations. It is not that Krishna is a manifestation of the original Vishwarupa or Vishnu. Krishna in the is the origin of all forms. There are hundreds and thousands of Vishnus, but for the devotee, no form of Krishna is important but the original form, 200 Shyam Sundara. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that those who are attached to the Shyam Sundara form of Krishna in love and devotion can see him always within the heart and cannot see anything else. One should understand, therefore, that the purport of this 11th chapter is a form of Krishna is essential and supreme. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purports of the 11th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in matter of the universal form. Hare Krishna.
Jai Ho. Jai Ho. Biggest chapter.
I wanted to read this purport, but I thought I have already read this.
It is very
Hare,
beautiful.
thank you,
purport. Hare Krishna. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu actually has all the verses for this Anya Vilasha Shunya, Mataksha Krishna Namadi, Sevam Mukhi Jivadu, then Sarvopadi, Vinir Bhaktvam. All these verses are emphasizing this verse. So when you study Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, try to remember this verse. Mat karma kurun mat parmo mat bhakta sangavarjita nirvaira sarvabhuteshu yasamameti pandava. Is very important. Without
even that earlier verse Karmanye Vadikar is Tamaphaleshu is also mentioned here.
Yes. So we'll start Bhakti Yoga. We'll say that what we are doing till now. It is Charam now, Bhakti Yoga, simplest chapter. What we teach first to the children is this only. 20 verses are only there. That will rush about tomorrow, cut. And Monday we'll try to complete it. Then you have ample time to relish the verses. I'm not saying study the verses, relish the verses. Don't study for examination. Study for our real examination. Because just for passing out, Bhakti Shastri, oh, I should get Brahman initiated, everything will happen. Automatically will happen. Relish the verses, understand the verses, digest the verses. That is more important. Yeah, Anupama.
Hare Krishna Mataji. This is regarding exam. So,
Regarding
regarding exam, our Sloka
exam.
exam and close book exam, all three exams. So, on this date, which is mentioned in the calendar, we both are not available.
What is the
Almost.
date mentioned? I never see that. What is the date mentioned?
That is 26? No, 27, 28. So 27, I'm completely not available, so probably he can attend. So for us, it's like because I'm very busy time because of work, so I'm not able to concentrate. But this is not this thing. When you're having a final exam on the same date, or you will be
27,
postponing.
28, na? 27, 28. Or we'll make it little bit here and there. Let us see. Exam time is there. Don't worry. First study. If I know no one study is happening, then next Saturday, Sunday we'll make it. What is it?
Yeah, if everybody agrees, so that would be nice. So there's no
Ah,
pressure.
everybody
Yeah.
will agree only. Na?
I
See, the
agree.
more we extend, everybody is agreeing only. Third week we'll
Don't
make it.
extend, Mataji. Don't
Ah.
extend because we will not read. Don't tell it right now.
Yeah, that is what I don't know.
Yeah.
So do you take it Saturday, next Saturday, Sunday only?
Wait. Janmashtami.
Oh yeah, Janmashtami is also coming, so we have saved one also. Yeah.
We can make it third, not a problem. Study nice.